November 1st, 1880, Berlin, Germany. A scientist who looked like Lord Voldemort.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No, 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 no.
Was born into a family which could afford years and years worth of school fees, which amounted up to thousands and thousands worth of dollars, which led to him to be publicly humiliated and be named the most ridiculous scientist to ever live, to the extent which he was ridiculed even after his death. Yeah, Alfred Wegner's genius was clearly not appreciated in the early 90s. So, the continents look and fit like a puzzle. I'm gonna write a paper on this. Okay, well, that didn't really work out, and now everyone is laughing at me. Hey, look at that. There are balloons over there, and balloons all the way over there. This could be something. I'm gonna write a paper on it. If you have ever looked at the world map before, you probably have observed that the 7 continents look like a giant jigsaw puzzle. The first variation of our modern world map was actually made in the 6th century CE, so surely sometime during the millennia, someone must have observed that the world looks like a giant jigsaw puzzle, right? Well, if you were thinking that, you'd be right. Well, Wegner wasn't necessarily the person who discovered that the continents fit like a puzzle, rather he was actually the one who first wrote a paper about the hypothesis and who first connected it to the continental drift. Wegner's theory was that the continents that we know today were actually once smaller continental landmasses which drifted apart from one supercontinent we now know as Pangaea. Wegner believed that the continents were able to do this by plowing through oceans and into each other, which is not reasonable. He called this movement continental drift. Some evidence that he gathered included how continents could fit like a puzzle. So well, as you can probably tell, Wegner's paper flopped. Big time. Continents fitting like a puzzle was simply too arbitrary and could be purely coincidental. It was not actual proof, rather it seemed to be a happy coincidence at that time. Wegner became the punching bag of the scientific community, being ridiculed every day, everywhere. However, Wegner did not let this distract him. He focused all his time into finding the second piece of this puzzle. Wegner backed up the theory of continental drift with fossil data. These species of fossils could be found on places that were currently way too far distant from each other. Although this evidence seemed convincing, Wegner still had no idea and did not have a good model on how the continents actually drifted, which made fossil data look like a coincidence as well. Before being able to create a convincing model, Wegner died in 1930.
Who's that Pokemon?
Enter Maria Tharp. Following the death of Wegner, American geologist Maria Tharp in 1953 revisited Wegner's theory, and she, along with American geologist Bruce C. Heezen, contributed to the creation of a significant ocean floor map. Tharp became aware of the ocean floor's potential to support the scientific hypothesis of the continental drift after studying the map. Although this piece of evidence did draw more attention to this theory, the evidence still was not enough to make it an accepted one across the world. Tharp would die in 2006 at the ripe age of 86. Harry Hess. Continental drift wasn't proven for around 15 years. It wasn't until 1962 when Harry Hess published a paper named The History of Ocean Basins. He presented a proposal that would explain how the continents might truly migrate. Later, this idea came to be known as the seafloor spreading. Hess had finally provided a justification for the separation of the once joined continents into 7 that we see today, supporting Wegner's hypothesis of continental drift. Thanks to many geologists and scientists such as Harry Hess and Maria Tharp, we now finally understand that one crucial aspect of Wegner's ideas was incorrect. Continents do not plow through ocean floors, unlike what Alfred Wegner stated. Thanks to this, in the late 1960s, we finally now accept the theory of continental drift.